On this episode of Slainte, we're headed to the Gaspereau Valley to check out the organic and vegan wines of LAcadie Vineyards. We'll discover what drew this family to the Annapolis Valley, get a look at some traditional method winemaking, and taste some of the most exciting soil-to-glass wines this destination vineyard has to offer. Not far from Wolfville lies the Gaspereau Valley, home to lush rolling hills, gentle rivers, and LAcadie Vineyards. Tucked at the base of the South Mountain, this family-run winery sits proudly, following in the footsteps of their ancestors as ninth-generation farmers. To find out what first drew them to the area, I spoke with one of the co-owners, Bruce.
Well, it starts actually in British Columbia a long time ago. My wife is from Nova Scotia, 9 generations, and most of my winemaking career was in BC, in the Okanagan Valley. And we've always, if people from Nova Scotia understand the pull of Nova Scotia to come home, and we felt that pull quite a bit. So had a lot of working vacations coming out here and wanted to do our own thing, found our own winery in Nova Scotia.
How did you get interested in winemaking in the first place?
I get that question quite often. My mom made wine, but I don't have a winemaking family in the generations. Farming definitely, but so does everyone else. But it mainly started when I went to school at UBC in Vancouver, and I took agricultural engineering. And my first job out of school was at Peller Estates, which is a large national wine company. After that, I got experience in Australia and California, and then moved back to the Okanagan. I was head winemaker at some smaller estate wineries. Most of my career, I started to focus on sparkling wine in the Okanagan. So that's what we're known for. So we were the first to produce sparkling wine in Nova Scotia. We came out here and bought this property because of the soil and everything about this property for sparkling wine.
So you knew that it was going to produce that?
No, I didn't know that. There's always an element of risk.
Okay.
There's always an element of risk. We planted the LAcadie Blanc grape, and there wasn't a bubble in the province before we came here. And we had tasted the LAcadie Blanc grape, which is the signature grape for Nova Scotia, from other wineries, other beautiful wines from other wineries, as still wines without bubbles. And we talked long into the night about how this could become a sparkling wine. So it was a bit of a risk in that sense. We planted a lot of LAcadie Blanc for that reason, to make it into sparkling. But there was a bit of an unknown there. But now a lot of other wineries are doing the same type of sparkling, and it makes us feel good to see that we were a part of it.
Yes, you were. What did it feel like to provide that for the province?
It felt good. I've helped other wineries produce their sparkling wine and start their programs. It feels good when you're making a wine that's suitable to the region. It's much like champagne. When did they realize 150 years ago that this is the region for sparkling wine, and this is what we want to concentrate on? So if you look around our portfolio of wine, you'll see that sparkling is a big part of our portfolio. We do some still wines as well. We do a Tidal Bay. We have a very small red program, but sparkling is our focus.
And Bruce, can you explain the trajectory a bit of planting the vineyard to then opening the winery?
Sure. So there's a lot of firsts for our winery. The first to release sparkling wine, traditional method sparkling wine fermented in the bottle, like champagne. But also we're the first organic winery in Nova Scotia. So when we started, it comes from the heart. We wanted to do it organically. So in our family, we, people ask us why, and you're probably going to ask me that. But it really, it's. Sometimes I say, if conventional farms had to declare everything that they use on it, wouldn't that be more fair? But the onus is on us to declare what we don't use. But this is the way it was done before the 1950s. It's not new. It just has a label now. It's called organic farming, but it's something that is part of our culture and our family. So we're the first to do that. And we found the property, dug holes, found about the rocks and the soil characteristics. We're high-fiving each other when we found this property. We were so lucky to find it. It's 30 acres of paradise here in the Gaspereau Valley. It's close enough to Wolfville and close enough to other wineries that I wouldn't say it's a drive-by winery, but it's a part of that destination experience for tourism. So we planted. During that time, I was hustling, doing research in wine at the Research Centre, Agriculture Canada, and consulting for other wineries as we were growing our grapes. And then that was starting in 2005, 2006. 2008 is when we opened up the winery and the wine shop. So our first releases were in 2008.
What an exciting start for this amazing family business. To find out what first got him interested in the winemaking world, I spoke to the vineyard supervisor, Chris.
It was very special. So I didn't know much about farming previously, let alone organic farming, which I've learned is a lot different than conventional farming. I came from technical theater, so it was more of doing the lighting and the sound and set carpentry, and that does relate quite well to a lot of meeting timelines and a lot of labor that goes into it. So there was a little bit of a correlation there, which was nice. But for the most part, Bruce has been a great mentor, and Caitlin, who was the previous vineyard manager, she was quite exceptional with teaching me at a pace that I would understand.
That's right. That always helps.
Yeah.
And did you immediately take to it, or was there a bit of a learning curve? Or
Definitely a little bit of a learning curve. Yeah. So there's I almost describe it. It's a mixture of science as well as magic. Like it's just like this. It was nothing I was used to. I didn't necessarily come from a background like a strong academic background. It was a lot of design and art. So that had a little bit of adjustment to it.
And so are you growing new vines?
No, so a lot of these grapes are already established. Right behind us is LAcadie Blanc. It's a majority of what we grow here. And this soil type that we have on the property is quite unique, specifically to the region. We have a lot of rich minerals and sedimentary rock. It's a moderately acidic soil. So with that, there's a lot of zinc, a lot of copper, as well as schist, sandstone, and all of that adds flavor to the wine that you would find, the terroir. Mm-hmm. And because of the rock content and more of the coarse soil, these grapes actually have to work a little harder to access that moisture and that water. So they have a depth of about 1 meter down into the ground. And so the benefits of that are strengthen the root structure. It adds a little resilience to the weather. It keeps them nice and warm during the winter as well as cool during the summer.
Next up on Slainte, I sit down with the wine shop manager to find out what makes this location so unique. And I get a closer look at a traditional method for winemaking.
We just signed up for a Magic Bus wine tour, and that's what brought us here.
We absolutely love it. It's been an amazing day.
I've been to Nova Scotia, but never wine tasting, so that was definitely the focus of the trip this time.
Coming here and it's quiet and peaceful is just lovely. It's exactly what we were looking for.
And they have wine.
Actually, they do, and they have some very good wines.
Awesome. Yeah, we've had a very nice time. We got one more stop today, but yeah, I've had a great time.
Yeah, I actually said I'm going to plan all of my vacations in the future around wineries.
I am drinking the rosé.
And I am also drinking the rosé, and we bought some to take home because it's so good.
It's delicious.
I think we've really enjoyed all the Tidal Bay wines because each wine at each winery we've been to has been just that little bit different, and understanding a little bit of how those wines are composed, and each winery makes little changes. That's been really fun to understand that and learn a little bit about that.
Nestled in the rolling hills of the Gaspereau Valley, you'll find LAcadie Vineyards. While having roots in Nova Scotia, this family started on the West Coast. To find out more about this transition for the family, I spoke to Bruce's daughter and the wine shop manager, Alexa.
I don't know, I think this place is just so special, and I think both coasts kind of have their draw, and my family came from the Okanagan, so we already have some roots out there, and the places are so far apart, so you know, it's kind of hard to travel between the two, but there's definitely a draw to the West Coast and the East Coast, and yeah, I just feel like everyone who leaves the East Coast always comes back. There's something special about it. So.
And has it ever, like, was there a moment where wine really clicked for you, or you became interested in it yourself?
I've always been interested in it. I find it fascinating. I do like ferment my own like ginger beer and kombucha and stuff. So I've always kind of been interested in sort of have my own version of crafting beverages. But yeah, it's just really cool to be involved. It's such a special place. So it's just like really cool to be here and be a part of it.
And can you tell me a little bit more about your job? So you are the wine room manager?
Yeah.
And so what does that entail?
It's sort of a little bit of everything. So the more obvious part of the role would be the wine shop itself, you know, making sure everything runs smoothly, making sure employees are taken care of, you know, making sure everyone gets a lunch break on the busy days. Sort of deciding like what the by the glass feature of the week is going to be, setting up displays. I do the social media as well, so me and Dad kind of share that role. So that's almost a full-time job in itself. That's a lot of work. But it's fun, you know, so like taking photos and posting stuff on there.
And can you tell me a little bit about what can people experience when they come here? I think I saw you offer flights.
Yeah. So we do offer flights. This place is pretty popular in the summer when the tourists come around, and people like local as well love to come by and try, you know, what new wines we have this year. And we've got a lot to offer. So when people come, they can do a tasting. We do different flights. So you can do a house tasting. It's a white rosé, sparkling, and a red. So you get a bit of variety. You can do all sparkling. So being the premier producer of sparkling wine, a lot of people come here and they're like, I want to try your bubbly. And, you know, we've got it. So, you know, it's so peaceful and beautiful outside. So a lot of people just come now and, you know, order a glass of wine. They go outside with their book and sit at a picnic table and just kind of like take it all in. So I think it's I think what sort of sets us apart is that it's quite quiet and peaceful here normally. And a lot of people can come and just really enjoy their time, enjoy like a slower pace, taste the wines, drink in the view, and people, like, if they want, they can learn a lot as well, because we're small, we're really involved in the process. And I think everyone here can talk quite a bit about, like, how the wine's made and, like, what we do and our farming practices, like organic and veganic farming, agriculture. And so I think people find that really cool as well, because they leave and they know a bit about the process, and I think people really cherish that, because it's like, wow, like I learned how this is made, and like from soil to glass, like what's involved, and I think people really enjoy that.
Why is organic and veganic important to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just sort of the way that things should be, because you want to nourish the soil that is producing this beautiful fruit for you to be able to make your wine. Like, what a privilege. So it's kind of like this reciprocal, like, the land is treating me well, like why would I not treat the land well and keep it healthy and fruitful for years to come?
What a beautiful and important philosophy. Next, I joined Bruce in the warehouse for a closer look at the aging process for their sparkling wines.
This is how a sparkling wine, this is a baby sparkling wine, is kind of the genesis of it. It's got a specialized crown cap, and the bubbles have fermented in the bottle. That's where the bubbles have come from. And then the yeast on the bottom have fallen to the bottom. And we age it on its side so you have the most surface contact. So I call it magic, but there's a lot of science involved. There's flavors coming off of that yeast, the yeast lees, we call it, and give it classic toasty, brioche, bready characters that people expect in sparkling wine.
That's lovely. And so how long does it age for?
Well, our Prestige Brut ages for 5 years. We've gone as far as 10 years with it as well, which is getting into Dom Perignon and high-end champagne, $250, $300 bottles. So 10 years. But 5 years is, most of our Prestige Bruts are aged that long. And every year you get a little bit more toastiness. And then at the end of 5 years, we usually release it. All our other bubblies are 1 to 2 years of aging.
Yes, what does that process look like?
Well, first of all, so I've shown you the yeast on the bottom during aging.
Yes.
What we want to do is shake that up and get it into suspension. This is a sparkling, a specialized sparkling bottle as well. It's good to almost twice the pressure that we ferment to.
I was gonna
so yeah,
say,
I saw you flinch.
I was so nervous. Okay, thanks.
And we'll get all the yeast in suspension, and then they go into the riddling racks. So I should say before, though, that Madame Clicquot, there's a yellow label champagne on the shelves in the liquor stores in Nova Scotia and around the world called Veuve Clicquot, and she was the founder of that company, and she made it fashionable for people to be sipping champagne that was clear. But before that, everyone drank it like this, cloudy. But she invented the riddling rack. So like I said, she made it fashionable for wine to be clear. So once we shake it, we'll put it in the riddling rack, and then it's a quarter turn a day, once a day, for 20 days with more and more of a tilt. And by the end of 20 days, this is a wine that's been riddled, all the yeast is down here at the neck. So it's crystal clear right down to here. Then we have specialized equipment where we can immerse that neck in a cold bath. It freezes the wine. We can pop the cap, and the pressure in the bottle pushes the ice plug out, and with all the sediment.
And then you can and
then we top it, add a little bit of dosage, and put a champagne cork in it, which everyone is familiar with.
Next up on Slainte, it's time for the tasting at LAcadie Vineyards. I sit down for some royal treatment as I sample a flight of their sparkling wines.
The scenery is just beautiful and it's so relaxing. It's just like, it makes me feel like how a vacation should feel.
We're definitely already planning our next trip.
100%.
We started off with a very nice rosé, which is a very good way to start. And then we had a sparkling wine after that. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but it was very, very good and very refreshing. And on a beautiful day like today, couldn't ask for more.
The Tidal May is very good, and the interesting thing about it is it's so many different flavors of it that I had no idea when we came here that some of those wines had those different blends, and they were so different.
We did the rosé, which we both liked.
Yeah, all the wines.
And
oh my gosh.
I think it was a gold winner, I believe, in Canada. So, yes.
Well, I would say that Ian, the tour guide, is worth coming here for because he's so funny and so knowledgeable. And then the wine is amazing. The best that we've had.
I think so too, yeah. Ian's the best. We love him.
Located on the outskirts of Wolfville in the beautiful Gaspereau Valley, you'll find LAcadie Vineyards. Having spent the day getting to know this incredible family and taking a look behind the scenes at the winery, it was time to sit down and taste a few of these wines for myself.
We're going to start with our Brut, which is our flagship wine, Prestige Brut Estate. It's won awards internationally, 100% LAcadie, certified organic, certified vegan, and it's from the vineyard behind you. It's an estate wine, meaning it's from the vineyard right here at the winery.
That is so cool. And it's my favorite thing about vineyards and about wine is how much actually like the physical landscape affects the overall product is so interesting to me. So this is a Brut. Mmm. Oh my goodness.
So there's some stone fruit characters there as well. A little bit of peach and apricot.
Kind of like, it's definitely a fruit, but it's not a citrus. It's like, ooh, very ripe tasting.
Yeah, citrus is a good descriptor.
Yeah,
That's common amongst a lot of Nova Scotia wines. So we get good acid retention. And, you know, when you talk about citrus, I always think, I teach part-time at the college winemaking courses, and I teach my students that much like the Inuit have 100 words for snow, we should have 100 words for acidity, because it's so much a thread of all the wines made in Nova Scotia. And it's a big strength for Nova Scotia, for sparkling in particular. So when you say citrus, do you mean orange, or do you mean lemon?
Lemon.
Or lime?
Yeah, there's so many. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay. What is our very next one here, Bruce?
The next one in the tasting flight, and this would be a typical sparkling tasting for visitors here at the winery, a sparkling flight like this. The next one is vintage cuvée. So it's another traditional method sparkling, much like the Brut. It's not aged as long, and we grow the grapes a little bit differently. They're on heavier soils, a little bit more topsoil, so they get a little bit more fruity.
So much mouthfeel to this one, I felt. Like, that one just coated the whole inside of my mouth. That is so lovely.
And the length on it, it lingers with you because that crisp acidity, it's mouth-watering. So a lot of people have sparkling wine as the first wine of a meal because it gets your saliva flowing and it makes you want to eat. But a lot of times, sparkling wine is consumed standing up. Let's face it, people say cheers.
Yes.
And at a toast at a wedding or things like that. But in Nova Scotia, we've developed a culture of food and wine. And you look at wine as a food, and it pairs so well with maritime seafood because it grows in the same place. But sparkling wine in particular can pair with a lot of different dishes. So it's not just to start the dish or your meal, it's to have with different components of your meal. Oysters are a classic pairing with this.
My favorite pairing is oysters and bubbly.
But lobster as well, whitefish, salmon.
So well-rounded. The next one has the most beautiful color on it. What is that,
Yeah,
Bruce?
I wanted you to taste a rosé to get an idea of what red grapes can bring to a sparkling wine.
I smell some dark berries, like a cherry coming off of it. So different than anything else.
See, it's still light and refreshing with acidity, so it's not made like a red wine at all. But it has the flavors of those red grapes.
Yes, and kind of like there's a boldness to it. There's it's kind of more forward than the other ones that are very light and kind of go back. This has so much body to it. Like,
yeah, which speaks to the food pairing options. This can be paired with some usually hard to pair dishes like Szechuans, things with spices, things with heat.
Just a beautiful, beautiful color. I absolutely love that. This one seems like a really big celebration. Like if you have a bachelorette party, you need this pink bubbly.
It's so pretty.
I would say. Yeah, I think so. What is our very last one? I'm so sad to say.
The last one is, so I introduced the flight as sparkling wines, and there's the first three were traditional method sparkling wines, fermented in the bottle like a champagne. Now the fourth one is a Charmat method, and it's a tank method of production. Have you heard of Prosecco?
Yes.
Everyone's heard of Prosecco, right?
Prosecco, I love Prosecco.
So from northern Italy, and it's a tank fermentation process.
Oh, that is so different. Wow. That is so interesting to me.
Yeah, more of a lime, a lot of lime characters in it. and the creaminess from the bubbles.
And where does that creaminess come from?
Well, in the tank ferment, we don't go as high a pressure as traditional method. So and that's by style, our decision, and because of that, you get a bit more creaminess with it.
Bruce, these are all so different. And what I'm so thrilled to see is that sometimes when you go and get a flight from a winery, you might have one bubbly on there, but you offer a bubbly flight. This is like my dream come true. I absolutely love bubbly, and you make fantastic sparkling wine.
Thank you.
If you're looking for a wine oasis with beautiful vistas and an amazing selection of organic vegan wines, then look no further than LAcadie Vineyards in the Gaspereau Valley. This dedicated family has poured their heart and soul into the land and vineyard to produce some of the most enticing sparkling wines around. So make sure to put this one on your list. It's an experience ripe with tradition and bubbling with love in every sip.